So this principle here is called the failure cycle. So I want to take you through. I don't know if you have ever started something and then for whatever reason you've not managed to complete or make it to the end of that journey or pathway. I know I've done it many, many times. And I like to put on it, there is very often a kind of a path or a process that starts playing out when this happens, right? So let me take you through it. It's a good one to write down as you go along. Write it down, you'll remember this one better. But very often when we first start something, we're in this stage here, which is a level of excitement. So I know that for many, many years, when I was back in my 20s and my 30s, this would often play out with me every year in January as it relates to my health. So going off and getting a good old gym membership. And I'd go really excited and I'd start off really, really hard, going to the gym regularly and going, this is going to be amazing. It's going to change my life and I'm going to, look like Brad Pitt and all these type of things. Then what can happen is, and this is what would happen for me every year, I'd go through this cycle, is I would then find myself kind of slipping from excitement into this one up here, which is avoidance, where I'd still go to the gym, but I might now not do quite as many exercises, quite as many machines, or a little bit less time on the treadmill or whatever that is, and start doing a little bit of this avoidance behavior as we go along. Then, of course, it starts getting, colder in the year and winter starts coming along, and now I'm making some excuses why I can't get out of bed, and now I can't get to the gym because it's dark and it's the weather. And of course, then the last one, blame, starts kicking in. My discounted 6-month membership's now done and I'm up to full rack rate. So now it's the gym's fault that I'm not there, right? And this whole cycle would play out, and I'll never actually end up getting to where I wanted to go and get to in the first place. And think about this. This happens in many, many different places. Like I've done this in my early days around wealth, where I've been really excited to go and get some learnings on it. Might have been learning about commercial property for the very first time. Very excited, work hard on it. And then for whatever reason, something becomes a bit more difficult, i.e. I mightn't be able to find the property that I'm looking for. So I go into a bit of avoidance behavior, then the excuses kick in now. What's the number one excuse that adults make on this planet? I just don't have enough time. It's like the dog ate my homework for children, right? I make excuses and then suddenly it's like, I've done this whole cycle again. So I remember I did that right at the very start when I was first learning about commercial property acquisitions, right? So have a think about where it is that, this is played out. And there is a critical moment on this flip chart that it is fundamental that you identify and know when you change. And it's this part right here. It's when you go from excitement and you start noticing the avoidance behavior kicking in, right? We actually see this. I see this in people when they first start business. They get all excited. They're doing all the things, and then they go into this one. When they first start, people start testing and measuring their marketing. They're all excited about doing it, and then suddenly it starts becoming a little bit too hard to go and do it, so the avoidance behavior kicks in. So that moment right there is the key fundamental moment to really identify when that happens so you can catch it. Now, there's normally 4 different parts that we look at. Somewhere in amongst these 4 different parts is what can play out on why this happens. First one, it might be that we had the wrong goals in the first place. So they might have been too lofty or not lofty enough or whatever that looks like. So we might have not done enough critical thinking on our goal setting. Second one could be 2, which is we lose focus on it. We don't have clear enough focus. I know that I am a big fan of things like dream charts, dream boards, that type of thing. So having visual focus in front of me for what it is that I want to go and achieve. I remember for many years, I never had any visual cues in front of me about my health and my fitness. That was part the reason why it would allow me to do that. So what's your focus like and how do you hold focus on those things? 3 is there's no action plan. So you've got a good goal, you've got a good focus, but I haven't road mapped out the plan or the stages to go and do it. So again, that can lead to this. And the last one, which is a big one, is this one called mental barriers, right? We have many, many different constraints when it comes to running a business. You have many different constraints when it comes to running a business: marketing, people, systems, time, all of that. But you know, one of the largest constraints in a business, one of the largest things that can prevent us, you, me, from successfully growing a business is what goes on between our two ears, right? So this is this whole piece here, and why we're doing these generalized principles at the start is to go, what's going on up here that prevents us from actually following through. So keep a close eye out for this one. I can tell you from a coaching point of view, this will happen, right? That you'll be highly, highly excited as a general rule on everything that we're off to do. But at some moment, there'll be, if you notice a bit of avoidance behavior starting to kick in, identify it, talk to your coach about it so that we keep this whole trajectory going up along the way, especially with any other new strategies. All right, folks, enjoy this one. It's a great, great flip chart and a great principle to be aware of. Go execute.